Have you ever noticed that sometimes the hardest things to say are the most important? Well, to say that there was important words that needed to be said between my dad and I would be an understatement. And to say that my father and I were men of few words would also be an understatement. We're more like men of no words. But there was important words that needed to be said. And this all changed when Kay, my short Korean secretary with big brown eyes, came into my life. She used to always say, Odie, you know what? I want to become a chiropractor just like you. And I said, Kay, you would make an amazing chiropractor. She was way overqualified to be a secretary. And surprisingly, just after a few months working with me, she came in and said, guess what? I got accepted into chiropractic college. I'm like, Kay, that is incredible. Oh my God, that's so amazing. And she's like, yeah, but I don't think I'm gonna go. I was like, what do you mean? How come? And she said that she wanted to defer. And you might be thinking what I'm thinking, like, why would somebody work so hard, get accepted, and then defer for 12 long months? And she said, Odie, you know what? Before I go, I just want my dad to know how much I love him. If you're thinking what I'm thinking, that doesn't take very long. Getting connected with a loved one is as simple as 3 seconds, right? I love you, over. She's like, well, Odie, it's not that simple, because you see, in my culture, you don't just say, hey, pass the salt and pepper, and by the way, I love you. I said, well, in our culture, it's the same. And most cultures and most families around the world, this is a challenging thing. But at the very least, just let them know in your own way. Maybe you just write them a note. That's all I could think of. Well, you know what? I wasn't sure if my advice registered, and weeks went past, and it was the same routine. She'd come in, kind of low energy and dragging her feet. And I knew that it was so important for her to follow her dreams. But I really couldn't get through to her. Then I remember speaking to Dr. John DeMartini, who's a fellow chiropractor of mine and inspiring the world. And he said to me that if you only had 24 hours to live, you would want your family to know how much you love them. And I remember thinking, like, John, I don't see my family racing to tell me. And he said, Odie, just trust me. Where love's concerned, just make the first move. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And so that's what I said to Kay. I said, Kay, one day I just kind of went up to her and I said, hey, Kay, listen, I just want you to know something, that, where love's concerned, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Just consider just writing that note. It's a simple step that may change everything. Yeah, I wasn't sure again if I got through to her, but one day she came in, her cheeks were all rosy red, she was huffing and puffing. You could tell she raced into the office in the morning. And she said, Odie, guess what? I'm like, what? She's like, I wrote the note. I'm like, get out of here. She's like, yeah. I said, so what did you write? If you don't mind me asking. And she's like, I said, Dad, enjoy your breakfast. I was like, Kay, are you kidding me? That's not what we talked about. She's like, wait, there's more. And then she wrote, and by the way, I love you. And here's the kicker. She's like, do you want to know where I put the note? I was like, where? She's like, between the salt and pepper shakers. That was incredible. So it's amazing, because not only did Kay go to chiropractic college and not defer, till next year, but when she got there, magic happened. And I'll tell you about that in a second. Shortly after she wrote the note, that same day, her father came into the office. Now, this intimidating man, the picture of this intimidating man that she drew for me in my mind was that, I couldn't believe that this is the guy standing in the doorway in jeans, a checkered shirt, in his trembling, shaking hands were a bouquet of flowers, and a smile on his face. And when Kay saw him, she dropped everything, ran and hugged him, and they cried. And it was office hours. So I did what any professional would have, I think. I put my foot down, and I cried right along with them. It was a magical moment. It truly was. But here's where it just gets so beautiful. Kay went to chiropractic school, and in her class, sitting next to her, would be the man that she married. That's right. She married him. And in 12 short months, she gifted, 9 months, but a year later, when she came back, she gifted her father a grandson. So just imagine if we don't chase our dreams and if we don't make that first move, what it could be costing us. So I'm wondering if you're making the first move and if there's somebody that needs to hear those 3 words right now in your life. I know that Kay making the first move allowed me to make the first move myself. I sat next to my dad on the couch one night as I just thought, like, I'm giving someone advice, I'm not even living it. And I just wanted my dad to know how much I loved him. So I elbowed him and I said, "Hey, Dad, I love you, right?" He looked at me like, shut up. Of course I know, kind of thing. And the most important thing for me is that I got through to him, that he heard those words before he died. And that was Kay's gift to me as well. So I want you just to think about it for a moment. Just really take a deep breath and just consider that person in your life that maybe you haven't been really connecting with, and maybe you haven't been expressing how much they mean to you, because life is short. I know that we get, busy with work, with life, and we sometimes forget that these are the most important things in life, right? So my challenge to you is just think about that important person in your life. Just do something simple. Reach out, tell someone you love them, write them a note. But hopefully you make the first move, and hopefully you found this of value.